Alright. I think we're good.
Wait, we're doing all the bosses?
I'm not gonna go over Lich King. Everything
Oh,
else is pretty,
not over Lich King. You mean the most important one? Oh,
bro.
The thing we're not gonna do the first week.
what?
I mean, we'll probably do it
Oh,
the first week, but
we plan on it.
I'll attempt it.
Lich King is more of a. I mean, I'll
Healer.
definitely go over it in the future, but for the sake of right now, for the PTR, I want to get everything else laid out because I don't think we spend too much time on Lich King at all in the PTR.
We get the fucking Lich King.
Alright.
Alright.
Marigar, pretty similar to the way we were doing it. Instead of prior, we were pulling in from the side, just having everyone pretty much stack in the middle. I want to have everyone in the middle here, hunters kind of on the outskirts. And then during Blade Storm, all we do is I go this way, Gray goes the other way, and the hunters kind of retreat into these zones. So Marigar should prefer targets who are further away. So he should go after one of the tanks, one of the hunters, pretty much back and forth until Bone Storm's over. So that means a lot less Cold Flame in the raid. That means a lot less just Bone Storm damage. The only downside of this is if a hunter gets bone spiked,
You don't want to stack them?
all the range needs to
Turn
swap
around over.
over. Yeah. What's
You
up
don't want
here?
to stack the 200s?
No,
Really?
really. Because he prefers the further targets, but it's not.
I meant like before Bone Storm. You should. I feel like.
Oh,
you should
before
stack
Bone Storm, they're gonna be in closer.
them. Okay.
Like that's why I just have them on the outskirts of the circle here. Like they can be in the safe area, but when Bone Storm's coming, they need to retreat out to this zone or these zones.
Okay, makes sense. I was confused on that. I thought you were gonna have them there the whole time. I was like, the fuck?
No,
What
I
are
mean
you
they're
guys
gonna be in
gonna
here
die?
DPSing, but when like 5 seconds on Bone Storm, make sure they're out at max range. Starts casting it, retreat further back to really bait him. Because ideally, what we do is we get him to target a hunter first, then the opposite tank, then the hunter again, opposite tank again, or even if he kind of goes back and forth.
Yeah.
So that's pretty straightforward, not much different there. It's easy fight.
Easy boss.
Lady's gonna be a bit different positioning wise. First of all, we're gonna have all of the ranged kind of back here along the outside wall. Other than a few that can be behind this pillar, just their LOS of these guys. We're still gonna save Lust for phase 2.
I don't
Other
like it.
than that, bro, what do you
Nah,
not
I'm
like?
being for real, actually. Like, no bullshit.
This is how every
I
other
think you
group
tank them
has been
behind the
doing it.
pillar.
What?
I think you tank the ads behind the pillar.
I do. Yeah. This is just for
Okay,
pull.
your picture's trash!
Bro, how?
Sorry, Joe.
Okay.
What's up, fellas?
What
Yo.
I do, bro?
So
Don't feed the
Or
trolls.
both me and Gray are gonna like initially start on them. I mean, I'm mainly doing this so I can get aggro off the healers or the range before they go too wild.
Yeah. We can
Uh,
pull this boss behind her too. We don't have to actually run in.
I want to use this area in front of her here to bring all the ads to. So both me and Gray will have all the ads here. In the event we get one of those big diseased fuckers, basically, I'm going to try to kite them around, and we need all of the DPS to swap. Everything else, for the physical immune, I should tank, and then for the spell immune, Gray should tank when they get reanimated.
I don't think you. Well, I don't know. That fucking the caster animated should just die. Like.
I mean,
the one
hopefully.
with, spell immune. Actually.
Any questions regarding this one, or?
How are we
Fuck
handling
yeah.
disease?
So, it's going to be same as before. We're stacking them in the middle, so they should die pretty quick. I mean, melee will just literally turn around and hit them. It's going to be a call to just stop all AoE ahead of time, like 5 seconds or so before. And then fears, polys, etc., cyclones. And a frost trap here.
So doing this, healers shouldn't have any LOS issues like we were before, right?
Correct. Because all the healers should be in the back here. And they're just going to be casting on everyone on this platform. I mean, I have us out here just to kind of show which sides we're going for. But most of the time we will be on this platform as well, behind the pillar, in the middle, etc.
Down 4.
Fuck healers. I'm just kidding.
DBS, we have a couple ways prepared to do this. The first one, we tank it just like we were before. Melee is going to completely tunnel the boss. We're going to have range zones here.
Oh, okay. Whoa. You should actually fix this. So 4 and 5 need to hit the opposite side beast. You need to flip this. Actually, that's what you're supposed to do.
What, 4
Right,
hit
you
this
wanna-
guy?
5 needs to hit the furthest beast, and then 4 needs to hit the furthest beast, and then 3 needs to hit the. You know what I mean?
Do you mean on the exact opposite side of the boss?
Yeah, on the
Yeah,
opposite
yeah,
Oh,
side.
The
okay.
arrows,
Yeah.
the arrows
So they
should be
travel further.
crossing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the
fine.
arrows are definitely fucked.
Okay. Yeah, I'll fix
That's-
that then.
Yeah.
Either way,
Range.
we're going to assign a couple of DPS to each beast. For affliction locks, I'm going to explain why you're here in a bit, but I'm going to want you guys to all multi-dot. So corruption or whatever the fuck you do, all of the ads. That's by far going to kill everything faster. So we're going to do that. Healing wise, on mark targets, we're going to have soul stones on Gray, and we're going to have soul stones on Uzi. Depending on the first, second, third, etc. mark, we are probably going to DI any cloth or leather casters, and then use beacons on whoever we don't DI. If you get a mark, you're either going to get DI'd or a beacon, or nothing in the end. But regardless, you're going to run into melee if you're not getting DI'd. So,
Yeah, I have one thing from the last PTR.
yeah.
Manbear was throwing typhoons and he was knocking the ads into people on the other side because he was where 5 is on the sheet.
Yeah, it'll be different. He'll be in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, can we make sure that he's positioned somewhere either 3 or 4?
Well,
So
he
when
needs
he
to be in the
typhoons,
middle,
he shoves them
realistically.
into the door.
So, okay, a couple things I think you should fix here. You don't want all 5 healers out. You should have your 2 Holy Paladins should be out, and the rest of the healers need to be with melee. Your Holy Paladins need to run Righteous Fury for a chance at aggroing them ads. And then you want your Boomkin in the middle and all your range out.
That is why. Now, I do not want the paladins to
Okay.
be running Righteous Fury. That's specifically why I have these casters assigned. And in the event, say, Petal ends up with Mark and we decide we want to DI him, that's why the second Aflock is here. Because then we want them to take over just pumping the target. So I don't want to at all risk having to have healers move during this fight. I'm fine with
should move.
having...
You don't hold aggro, Jeff. You just pull it for a second. Like, you don't want any melee getting hit. If a melee gets hit, a mark goes out.
Yeah, I mean, they have a grace period, though, before they start attacking that you can fully just start loading in.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason a melee should get aggro. I mean, even, like, the only thing I could see happening is if Gray were to hit Hammer and it bounce to one of them, and that an H-Pala with Righteous Fury isn't going to pull off of.
Are DKs throwing diseases then?
Yes, disease is 70% reduced damage, so it's not really threat impact or threat, if you will. But it's going to be an extra bit of taking damage.
Right now, you have both hunters on the same side. If we're doing frost
If
traps,
you-
you should switch it.
Okay, I'll do that.
If you don't have RF going, like registry going, like a DK could very easily get slapped by one of these. If he
Yep.
pestilences instantly, they're going to attack them while a caster is casting, and then the caster will rip when the spell actually lands.
Yeah, I mean, everyone I've seen.
Like if I don't have a
running RF,
pyro ready to go, like if I just don't have one, it takes me 2 seconds to hit the ad. Mine plus time to find the ad, target it, and hit it.
Or that's fine. Just hit the ad.
I mean,
I actually agree with him.
we
I mean,
can do Righteous Fury, but I just don't want it to be a problem.
Well, it's
where,
one or the other, right? It's either we register so paladins rip off them before they spawn, or DKs wait to disease.
They're not gonna have to move. Like if a caster doesn't have aggro before he hits the holy paladin, that's a different problem. We need to address.
Then yeah, that's
All right,
I mean, the paladin should be pretty far back. Like they shouldn't be in the melee by any means.
Righteous Fury on then. I guess that settles that. And this positioning looks good. Mage here, Hunter here, other Hunter over here, Man Bear in the middle, Zone 3. That works.
Leroy,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna ask Leroy, why did you initially suggest that the other healers be in melee and the paladins be?
There's no reason for you to be in range. There's a debuff that goes out if you're within like 10 or 12 yards of someone. It does AoE damage and it gives them blood power, and you don't want that. If you're in melee, you won't get it.
You shouldn't. It was going out in melee on the PTR.
I mean, it'll get fixed.
Hopefully. This
One
is
of the
Blizzard.
debuffs will go on melee. It's not the AoE one. I had it all backwards. There's two. There's Boiling Blood and like another one. Boiling Blood, I think, is the AoE one. It's a range only mechanic.
Yeah, and that's one melee we're getting.
And you can bop that off too, by the way, because it does give him blood power, so it's good to bop it.
Do we know if these steps on the sides are LOS for the ads? Like where one is
They're not.
trying to hit that back one?
Yeah, they're not LOS.
They shouldn't be.
Alright, so knowing all that, the alternate strategy we have here is we have melee, just nuke the fuck out of a beast. In theory, they all die faster, and this first one dies before he can even melee a melee. Although I'd rather start with the 5 zones. And if we need to do this to make it work, then we will.
Yeah,
So that's why this is the second.
Backup strat.
Yeah.
Your rep pally just stuns it, and everyone needs to swap on it as soon as it's stunned and kill it immediately. Just that one, though.
Yeah.
If we can coordinate that, it's much better for range because range can spread easier. But if our rep ally is slower or whatever, then that could be bad, right?
Right. I mean, the worst case scenario is it gets stunned, or it doesn't get stunned, and then we get an extra mark. But I also don't like this strategy because we're trying to do the Soulstone DI tech. So, I mean, there's a very real chance that the Rep Paladin is in the middle of doing that during the spawn.
Okay, that DI tech is 30%, by the way. You don't do that until 30. Like, right before 30, you DI a Clothwearer. Like, that's when they really take the dick, right?
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
rough.
it's fine if we can keep up with it, but I mean, I'm not opposed to doing it at higher percentages. If we're at 50%, like, DI is a 3-minute buff. I'd rather DI someone early than lose them if we're getting too many marks.
I mean, if we're getting too many marks, yeah. Gonna be a wipe anyways, probably.
I think
Yeah,
Gray
you-
could also always hit the Hodge too, right?
He could, yeah. But that also implies that I'm the one tanking it at the time. Because you also don't want to move the boss, because then you move the spawns. That's just a whole can of worms. Alright, any input on this?
So are we having healers in range or in melee?
We'll have H-Pals in range, the rest in melee.
Okay.
Since we're doing the RF tech.
Yeah. And if when we go to phase 3, by the way, Odysseus, if we have like 2 melee with Mark, you're literally gonna pick one and just spam chain heal arm most likely.
Gotcha.
Alright, moving on. Pester got here. We're gonna move in, spread out, range is like 10 or 12. The main thing here is spreading and then stacking 3 groups for Spore. It's gonna look kind of like this. And then you spread back out. Very simple, rinse, repeat, hit the boss. It's indiscriminate who gets these spores. So if 2 melee get it and 1 range per se, say the range is over here, one of these melee need to come out and hit this other group. I do have it positioned so the 2 H-Pals shouldn't have to move. In fact, I should just put... Because there will also be vile gas that goes out, which will disorient the target and anyone within the 12 meters or so, and it is a very heavy damage.
Melee need to stack on 1 leg. We need to treat this fight like Algalon, actually.
Stack on one.
Every time
Oh,
he goes, we go foot to foot.
That was a great point.
Yeah, there you go.
That's good, yeah. Just update that accordingly.
Because that shit is massive for DPS. It's like really bad getting hit.
Can
by it.
Yeah, if you get hit by
we-
malleable goo, you're gonna lose like 75% hit chance or something ridiculous like that.
No, it's like 300% haste or some shit.
Oh.
Or
Can
200%.
we make sure to, when we go over this fight, before we do it, to assign, if we have 2 melee get the spore, which of the range groups they're going to every time?
It's gonna depend, because if this person out here gets the spore, we're gonna need the melee to run over here. If this person out here gets the spore, we're gonna need the melee to run over here. You know?
Gonna come down to
It-
coordination.
I mean, honestly, going to the right stack isn't the hard part. The hard part is having 1 melee go and not both. Because both melee are gonna say, oh cool, I got the spore, I'm just gonna stand here. But
You have a pretty good amount of time, by the way, to do it. It's like 8 seconds or some shit to react. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna call out best I can. So just try to listen for that.
And if it announces who gets it, you can easily just make the call.
Yeah, it does. Like DVM does as well. It'll literally light up your screen. So that'll just be a raid audible. But if I call your name, you just need to know, have awareness, you know, oh, we got 2 spores in melee and 1 over here. If I call your name, even if you're the further one, you need to go here. And then, you know, tanks come in, melee come in. It is a much smaller range than we expected. So you do need to be stacked up really tight in order to
it
get
was
the buff.
bugged. It's not actually that small.
Well, I'd still like to
Oh, yeah,
assume
definitely
that it
was tight.
is.
Yeah. I was just saying. That shit was bugged as fuck.
I think it's worth going over. You want 4 total spore stacks before Gaseous Blight goes out. So he'll blight the whole room. If you have 4 stacks, you'll live. If you have 3 stacks, you'll need healing, but you'll probably survive.
Oh, fuck? It's 3.
3?
4?
Is it 3 or
3, bro.
4?
It's 3.
Okay. Well, 3 then.
Is it immutable?
It is
Yeah.
immutable.
Yes.
So if you're a mage, you can say fuck all and take this further position and not even worry about it, just blast. You just need to ice block at the right time.
The only problem with that is if you get it, you need to move in.
Yeah, if you
Can't
get the
just
spore, you
fuck
still
you.
have to move in. You can't
Yeah.
just hard greed, but you can greed a bit.
Interesting.
Noted.
It's also worth mentioning this tank swap mechanic. We're gonna get. I don't think the debuff is
Butchered.
here. Yeah, we're gonna get 8 stacks of whatever the debuff is called. Increases our damage, which is good because threat should not be an issue. But over time, he ramps, so he will deal more damage. So towards the end of the fight, H fellows are definitely going to be, just spamming 100% of the time. That's why I don't want you guys moving.
How many big debuffs does he do on average in a fight? Do we know?
You mean the gas
A
going
lot.
out?
Yeah, the gas.
Or vial gas or the raid-wide damage?
The one you're moving. The one you're moving. That one.
Spore? So, okay,
Bro.
I'm just going to answer all of these because there's too many. This goes out like every 15 or so seconds on one random person and splashes. Lasts maybe like 5-10 seconds or something. Spores go out every, I want to say like 15-20 seconds again. And then we should only get one of these clouds. We could possibly get 2, so it's still worth trying to stack. But any other questions here?
What cloud?
The cloud, gaseous blight. I mean, the whole room becomes a cloud. That's
Oh.
what you stack the spore to survive. And he consumes that, and that's when he starts ramping. Actually, we'll probably get 2, maybe 3 on heroic. On normal, we'll probably get 1, maybe 2. The only difference between normal and heroic, really, health bar, damage, and Putricide will throw that ooze, the haste debuff. So you have to dodge that as well. That's what melee is mainly stacked up for, but
It hurts too. Don't get hit.
yeah. But we'll let you guys still do this stack, and I guess you really won't change legs, but at least get used to stacking for this fight. Alright, moving on. Rotface. This shit is gonna be probably the easiest fight of the raid other than loot ship. With the little oozes, you're gonna get mutated infection. That's this. When it gets cleansed, you'll spawn a little ooze. You can bind 2. I take the big ooze, bring it out, cut it around. If you get a little ooze while big ooze is out, you're going to want to bring it over. Literally, like, what you should do in this situation is run this way, have your ooze, because it's slower than you, and just kind of loop around, and then I'll bring the ooze around and he'll get consumed. After, I want to say 5 little oozes get consumed, gaseous blight will go out, or what's it called? Unstable ooze? Unstable ooze. Unstable ooze will go out. This guy will literally explode, and he'll hurl little projectiles. You can see them coming at the position of every player. So what you do is you just move a little bit to a place where nobody was before, because this guy will come all the way down and land right where you were standing. And it's like a 10-yard or so AoE projectile. So if everyone's spread out pretty evenly, this is a very easy. You just like move a little further away and you completely avoid it, and then you move back. Throughout the fight, he's going to spawn slime on the ground in these positions. It's really not that important. Just don't be in them, obviously. And if this big ooze is exploding and you're here, you need to keep that in mind. Don't just run into the ooze because it is a good amount of damage if you're not a tank. I'm still going to be running through it because I can AMS. Usually I might just flip directions depending on the ooze spawns, but if I call for a freedom, just the paladins need to be ready for that.
Is the unstable ooze explosion, like, the closer you are, the faster you need to react?
Yes. So if it explodes right here, that's kind of why I did that arc when I showed it. It's going to go up in the air, and then it's going to come right down on you. So if it's here when it explodes, this person needs to react very quickly. Meanwhile, this healer can get a Holy Light cast or two, or chain heal, whatever you guys do, and then move out, as long as they get there before the shit like hits the ground. Maybe not two, but you know, I wouldn't cancel cast. But if you were here, definitely would.
Gotcha.
Any interjections here? Alright, moving right along. Putricide. Okay. Gray's gonna do A-bomb, other than the Shadowmourne users later on, or whenever they get to the quest. For melee, this is a pretty simple fight. You're just gonna pretty much follow the boss. You're not gonna hit any of the orange bombs he puts on the ground. I will kite the boss back here, range, be kind of cognizant, and move along with us. On all of the green ooze spawns here, we're going to stack just like this. Everyone is on this side of the ooze and hitting it. That way when it blows up, everyone gets knocked back here. Ranged are back on it. Melee, you're going to wait a second. It's going to target someone. Once it starts moving again, if you're not targeted, well, if you are targeted, you can't move physically. So once it targets somebody, everyone just, or all the melee, you can just run in, hit it, as long as you're stacked back up with everyone else by the time they reach their next target, if they even do that. Orange ooze is a bit different. We should get one independent orange ooze, assuming this is heroic, which is just everyone's in this kind of initial position. The ooze comes out, A-bomb slows it, and whoever gets targeted needs to kite. It's usually best to run up towards the front here and then back around here, especially if you have boots. So if it's a melee, that's kind of perfect. You just kind of let them get maybe to the midpoint of the room and then kite around the back. Everyone needs to target the orange ooze, because if it hits them, anyone, while targeting them, it wipes the whole raid. So after a certain amount of time, it will choose a new target. It should die fast enough that it doesn't do that, but in the event it doesn't, melee need to get off of it. It'll stop, stand still for like 3 seconds, and then choose another target. And by the time that happens, the slow will be off. So that's why melee really need to not be right on it, or really around it. So assuming heroic, this is what phase transition will look like. It's the same tactic. We all hit the green slime. We prepare for the orange ooze while it selects. We're all going to get knocked back to this wall here anyway, which is perfect because this ooze is going to target somebody here, obviously, nobody else. So, again, kill the green ooze as soon as it's dead. You know, we're kiting around the outside wall. Obviously, the priority is to not get hit, so if the green ooze is alive, stop hitting it and start kiting if the orange ooze is getting too close to you. After that, we go meet up by the front, and it's pretty much a restart of the fight, where we kind of kite back, and assuming the first phase transition, this is when we would get an orange ooze and do the same shit. Last phase, we no longer have the A-bomb, so the poison puddles on the ground will no longer stay, which means we'll be kiting him around like so. Basically just need to keep up with the group, stay out of the slime, although you can bait it a bit to give us more real estate, but we shouldn't run out of room prior to getting too many stacks or killing it. So what we'll likely do is have Orc taunt the boss right before the first stack application, and probably later on to get 2 stacks. We'll tank swap so both tanks have 2, and then hand off after each one to keep the number of stacks as low as possible, because it's exponential damage ramping based off stack numbers. So first 2 stacks are super benign. Third, it deals a little bit of damage. Fourth is when the damage is pretty significant, and then by the 5th one, it's very difficult to keep up. That's when D-sacks need to go out and basically kill the boss before it kills us. Any questions or insights on Putricide?
Trash.
Yeah, this is going to be a boss we do on normal for probably the first couple weeks. Ideally, the first week we go in, we kill the first 4. We possibly kill these 2 heroic as well. This one should be significantly easier than this one, but they're both definitely doable. Putricide we likely tackle normal for a bit. Blood Prince, this is probably going to be a normal for a bit encounter as well. The tactics are the same, it's just going to take a bit for people to get comfortable with them. So this will be the starting positions where this orb denotes who has the health bar, who's actually going to be the target. Gray will tank both of these bosses. I'm going to take Keliseth. So Valinar will be first, and he's the Shock Vortex boss. That's why we have all the healers in the back here spread out, all the ranged in the middle spread out. It'll also cast these bombs, the kinetic bombs. These are going to be completely insignificant because we will have each Affliction Warlock or Hunter pet assigned to each one. Probably 200 pets in the back, and then 2 lock pets in the front.
The positioning of the disco balls is random, right?
It's the order that he
Semi-random.
summons them is random, but these are generally the 4 positions. It may be like here instead of here, but it's generally going to be the 4 corners. They also could be back here instead of up here. But yeah.
I only suggest that because I know I've seen a couple that were in the middle of the room.
Yeah, it is
Which is
definitely
probably
pseudo-random.
compared to like the front ones.
Warlock
ones along the
use imps
stage.
on this fight. At least the ones using their pet, anyways. Yes.
Yeah.
At least that's what I've been seeing. That was use imps because it's just safer, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they have a better HP pool or something. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, I think these can spawn as far in as here, and then this can spawn here, back here, etc. But again, that's really not going to be too important. So this is going to be the positioning for initial positioning after the pull. This is going to be our our shock vortex zone. So what Gray is going to have to do is move him back and forth every, I want to say like 5 seconds or so when he casts a new shock vortex. It'll be on a random player, most likely melee. So move back and forth. These range will have to react a little bit, but not too much. Now, during Empowered Shock Vortex, everyone needs to spread range 12. Melee are going to run towards the back of the stage. Gray should be able to stay here just fine. And then all of the ranged here should already be in a good spot. So nobody should have to deal with this mechanic as a ranged player. Melee is probably going to get knocked around first few weeks until people get comfortable and take consistent placement, but it's not too much damage to heal. It's more annoying than anything. On Heroic, it is a lot of damage because you get a stacking debuff based off how much you move. So if you get hit by this as a melee and you get knocked around a few times, you're going to take a lot of damage extra. So every, I want to say, minute, 45 seconds, the orb will transfer to a different boss. It is random, so this is assuming that it goes to Tal'Daram. Similar positions to the initial. This can also be in that middle space. We don't have to move him here particularly. But he will cast this flame orb, and it will go to a random range target. So that's why all the ranged are grouped up here, and all the melee are on this side of the orb, because we want to soak it as much as possible. It's going to do a flat amount of damage to everyone that soaks it, and it will reduce the amount taken by the final person based off how many people soak it. If nobody hits this orb and hits somebody, it's going to kill them and do AoE damage around them. So melee will soak a bit, and then as it moves to the range, whoever it's targeting will move to the back. It'll go through everyone here. They'll survive, move back in, rinse, repeat.
If it targets man bear, everyone spread the fuck out. Die. Deserves it.
Thank you for that
Yeah,
insight.
talk
If it's on Keleseth, this is pretty simple. Just don't kill my orbs, please. That's all I ask. These will deteriorate on their own. There should be 4 up at a time. I can survive with 3. With less than 3, it starts to really hurt. Especially when he has the orb. He does increase damage to me. Do watch your threat. I did have some issue on PTR when he was the second target, because I'm going to be range tanking him the whole time, so I do have a bit less threat than I usually do. That being said, I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue, even if it's the second target. I just need to be a bit more comfortable with the fight. But also I'm using my Icy Touches to get these orbs. They will also spawn randomly, so I may move, inward a bit to get one that spawns on this side and moves in to hit whatever person. They're not threat-based, they're last hit. So if I'm standing here and for some reason the boss is really close and you cleave and you hit 2 or 3 of these orbs, you are going to kill me. So please, do not multi-shot, do not starfall, do not, if he's anywhere near me, do not Divine Storm, do not hit cleave, do not hit any of these buttons. If I die, a quick B-res could save the pull, but it's likely a wipe because he will just start Shadow Lancing healers primarily, and they will get one shot by that on like a 1.5 second cast. This is probably one of the more tactical fights that's going to be taking a bit of time to get used to, but if you follow these steps, we should be okay. Does anyone have any questions or comments other than kill Manbear?
This is my favorite fight. That's all.
Love that.
Fight sucks dick. Can we move on?
I hate this fight. Yeah.
I
Blood Queen.
love it.
Blood Queen is painfully simple. This is a fight of bite order and keeping the bite targets alive. If we have bites die soon into the fight, we are going to wipe. If you do not bite someone and you get MC'd, we are going to wipe. So please respect the bite order. and don't do anything stupid. Flame debuff, Swarming Shadows. You get it, you move to the outside, you run towards the back of the room. Doesn't matter where you are, you run to the outside, you run to the back. If you're on the right side stack, or right side spread, I should say, you run to the outside, you run to the back. If you get Pact of the Darkfallen, you are running in towards the middle. No matter what position you are at, you should always be running in towards the middle. This is going to physically link you with 2 other players. Once all 3 of you touch, it will go away. You go back to your position. No damage is dealt. The longer this is out, the more damage everyone takes in the raid. So please pay attention and do not think that it's Swarming Shadows and run to the outside. This is like the one fight where it's very important to know which debuff is which, because if you think this is Swarming Shadows and you run out here and these 2 people are in the middle and they're trying to chase after you, you're going to kill half the raid, especially on Heroic. So just pay attention, get out quick when you have shadows so you don't put fire in the middle of the raid, because air phase is very important. When she goes down to the middle, up into the air, everyone needs to hard stack. If there's fire around here, that is very not good, because we're going to mass dispel here probably 2 or 3 times just because it can defensively resist, which is the most stupid change Blizzard has ever made to this game. But once you're dispelled, you need to spread out and pop personal defensives. That means IBF, AMS right on the timer, because it's like a 5-second long, more than 5 seconds, probably like a 7-second long barrage of AoE damage. Ice Block, Cloak of Shadows, all of your personal defensives will pop D-Sacks, will pop Shadow AMs, I believe. And then once that's over, it's back to the same initial position. Just rinse, repeat, stack for air phase, get dispelled, spread out, keep yourselves alive, run to the edge with the shadows, meet with Pact. This is probably a week 2, maybe week 1 heroic boss. So I'd like to maybe see some heroic pulls on the PTR, but I also don't want to spend too much time on it. Does anyone have any questions?
You intend on making a
Bite order?
ERT?
The weak aura will have the bite order.
Okay.
It'll be mages, warlocks first. For
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
No
Okay,
question.
just for those of us who have terrible memory, it's nice.
Also,
I mean,
have
the
it on
beginning
my
anyways.
I-
Later on, it'll probably be melee.
I cannot emphasize enough, it is, the way the bite works is it is first on threat that is not the target of Blood Mirror. If you are in front here, you shouldn't be. You're going to get Blood Mirror, you're not going to get bitten, first of all. You're also going to die because you have Blood Mirror, but do not specifically bait the bite. For the love of God, do not put on Righteous Fury, do not go into Frost Presence, do not do any of that shit. Please just do your usual openers, let the pumpers get it. It's probably going to be Fire Mages, Warlocks again.
Well, honestly, you probably should trick someone. They're not going to pull a boss off you at the beginning. I mean, they
Yes.
shouldn't. And let a warlock get it first. It's like the easiest thing.
Yes. We
You won't
will
range to have it for air phase. It's huge.
we will have one rogue use Tricks the Trade on the first target. Other than that, there should be no threat modifiers going out. Period.
Ramatant the motherfucker.
And that melee need to disengage when they get the tether.
Pact, you mean?
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you have to run to the middle.
Yeah, if you get packed,
Melee needs to get off at the
you
boss.
can't
and
just
not,
stand here and not do anything. You need to run to the middle.
and
Where's
not
that
backwalk.
fucking guy?
I only say that because I saw it when I was at PTR.
Yeah, like literally a side strafe and then go right back after it drops off. It's a very simple mechanic. Alright. Cindy is the last boss that I have here. I skipped over Valithria because it's going to be a normal boss for a while. It's just really up to healers to get comfortable with going in the portal, stacking, going around, and healing. There's really not too much to explain. We'll always just go clockwise around for that fight, so just keep that in mind. So Syndragosa, it'll start much like this. Again, everyone knows, or everyone should know, everyone's going to get pulled in for hunger and cold. You're going to run straight out. If you get pulled in and you accidentally start running towards the stairs, that's fine. Just keep going. Do not turn around. After it's over, you just start hitting the boss and you walk through them and go back to your initial positioning. When we hit air phase, we're over here, so casters can keep hitting her while she flies over. We're going to stack in the back here, and we're going to place tombs as follows. We're going to stack 2 on the left side, 2 on the right side, and 1 in the middle. When we move to heroic, it's going to be 2, 2, and 2. This may be a be on your feet thing. If there's a weak aura that will just literally tell you exactly where to go, I'm sure we'll use that. But for at least PTR, we're probably not going to have that. So once tombs are out, there's 4 frost bolts always that'll be on the ground wherever. Just position the tombs in between you and the frost bolt. I want them down to like half health pretty quick. And then everyone to just completely get off of them. Let no dots, no bleeds, or anything if you can help it. I know it'll still tick down. We'll probably get them to like 25% by the time the 4th bolt goes out. But that's fine. As soon as the 4th bolt goes out, they all need to die. So that's when you, like, if you're a DK, you know, you can find the one with the most health, Icy Touch, Plague Strike, Pestilence, DND, to get them all to die as soon as possible after that 4th one drops. Then we're back into initial positions. We'll probably get 2, maybe 3 air phases before we phase. We're only really going to be looking at normal for a while. So when you get, isn't this the icon? Pretty sure this is the icon for the melee debuff too. When you get the melee debuff, stack too high and it starts to hurt, just hit escape, let it fall off. If you are a slow attacker, you shouldn't have to worry about it too much, but if you're a fast attacker like a dagger rogue, you're going to stack this pretty quick, so you just need to be cognizant of it. If you're a caster and you get Unchained Magic, you don't want to stack magic buff it to like 4 or higher. You generally want to stop at like 3 or 4, let it fall off, take the damage, and then start casting again. If you have any immunities, you can do that right when Unchained Magic is going to fall off. Although if you are doing this on heroic, it will still do the AoE damage, so you need to be outside of the raid during that. Phase 2 is pretty simple as well. We're all going to position at the back foot initially. It's probably going to be more like over here. You're going to be really close to the tail. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to know exactly where the tail hitbox ends, but everyone's going to be back here. One person's going to get targeted. They're going to go back here. Emphasis on being in range. Do not be in melee, because you do not want to be close enough to get cleaved, but you're going to have to be to place this frost patch far enough, or ice block far enough. After that, everyone moves here. You drop your stacks. If you have no stacks, you can go in, kind of stand in the middle here. Range can just kind of peek out, hit the boss. Same shit's gonna happen. We get this ice tomb low while this mark is out. When the next mark is out, you kill it. Next person with the mark goes here. There will be a tank swap periodically, just so tanks can drop stacks, because that magic damage will ramp very fast. So this is a 2-tank encounter. Let's just be aware of that. Now, does anyone have questions when it comes to Cindy?
Just a comment. When I did it on PTR, Foji's listed if you were getting targeted in air phase, it listed it like in a line across the screen. So you could
Perfect.
see whether you were left, center, or right. We did it on normal, so there were 5.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's perfect then. But again, if you see that somebody's, or that you're in the middle and somebody else is in the middle with you, it's not supposed to be. Just
Be a bro and
yeah,
adjust.
be a bro. You can yell at them after the pull.
Exactly.
Single them out after we wipe or after we kill it. I don't care.
Is it just insane damage throughout on heroic? Why people are using 7 healers?
It's mainly Unchained, because Unchained will basically go on 4 healers guaranteed. So if you have 4 healers that cannot cast, you need to have like 7 healers, so you can have 3 that are keeping everyone alive.
Gotcha.
So that's generally why you see 2 discs, 2 H-Palas, Resto Sham, Resto Druid, and Holy Priest.
Will we be putting on any frost resist?
Right now, no. It doesn't seem that way.
Okay.
For those who are gonna try Heroic Cindy the first couple weeks, it seems like they're going to a couple pieces tops, just to help with the damage a little bit. But I mean, we're not looking at Heroic Cindy until maybe like week 4, week 5. So by then, there should be enough stam, enough haste, enough everything to keep everyone alive. Shouldn't be a problem.
How long do you have to stop casting to drop your stacks of Unchained?
A long time. I think it's 7 or 8 seconds.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
But
I'm
it
pretty sure.
refreshes on when the spell is cast and not when started. So it's about 6 to 8 seconds.
While we have everyone here, I know I didn't set this up in advance, but we can go over Lich King.
I mean, you could go over phase 1. The rest of it's cake.
Yeah, I mean, rest of it's a lot of rinse repeat, so
Like on normal, anyways, it's really cake after phase 1.
I mean, we'll definitely be doing a very similar normal heroic strat.
Well, I mean, heroic adds dynamic. You got the room, you got the ghost. Like, the ghosts don't really wipe you on normal. I guess it's good to practice on, but
Yeah, you could still practice the positioning on normal.
I don't think they'll fucking wipe you on normal. I could be wrong.
They
I don't
can.
know.
They definitely can. Okay. Obviously, this is not everyone, but I'm just generalizing. So there are going to be 2 positions: melee, ranged, and Gray is going to be back here in the middle with the shambling, as well as any dredge ghouls. This may actually be a little bit further. So for normal, first few weeks, this is going to be phase 1 positioning, flat out. If you get necrotic, or is it necrotic plague, if you're in ranged, you just take that, you bring it here, you get dispelled, the shit jumps to the ad, you move back. Same thing with melee. Get this shit, you run over. You get dispelled, you run back. Easy peasy. The only difference between normal and heroic is you get shadow traps. If we were to get a shadow trap in, say, ranged.
Did you not do that shit on normal?
No, there's no shadow traps on normal.
You're joking.
No.
It might actually
Range
kill it.
just moves this way, shadow traps here. Gray moves back a little bit to compensate. We keep this general positioning. This also should be a hard stack, by the way. I feel like that probably goes without saying, but everyone's going to want to be directly behind the boss and hard stacked in range. That way, if melee gets a shadow trap, we all just move back, and we're basically even with where we started. If ranged gets it twice, and they have to move, melee moves up just to keep everyone in range. So by the time, again, heroic, by the time we're all the way back here, he's probably going to phase. He's going to run to the middle. Actually, we'll probably be just a bit further down. We'll probably be like here. He runs to the middle. Gray takes this guy out here. Everyone else comes and stacks in the middle. They stay away from that ad. You do not touch this ad at any point in the encounter. The debuff does all the work. Once he dies, the debuff hops over. I forget, you can just dispel it, right? You don't have to bubble.
Yeah, you can spam dispel it.
You
I mean,
can-
it's easier to just bubble it, but you
Okay.
have to dispel it until it's gone. It takes forever.
Alright, yeah, that's fine. I mean, he'll probably just bubble here then. Drop the stack. Ad dies. Easy peasy. Spirits, vile spirits. They're gonna spawn on a random party member. They do a frontal AoE silence. So first one's probably gonna be me. This guy should be dead by the second one. Then Gray can come over. Or do we want to split them or stack them? We probably want to stack them here.
Why the speed?
Yeah,
yeah,
spirits.
you definitely stack them.
We'll stack 'em.
in the same spot.
I'll take the middle here. Gray will take kind of the outside. So that way this frontal doesn't silence both of us at the same time. Because the worst thing that can happen here is we're stacked. I have one. A second one spawns. He's silenced and can't taunt it. So I'll face mine inwards. He'll face his outwards. All the melee are going to be right under them. All the ranged are going to stay stacked here. Is it 3 or 4 on normal? I think it's 4 on heroic and 3 on normal. So regardless, depending on silences, one of us is going to pick up the last one, Gray's going to taunt off, and then I'm going to move in the middle for Lich King. We're going to drag the last one if he still lives, which he probably will because there's no 30% buff. On top, the focus here is killing the Vile Spirit. That's the name, right? Yeah. And everyone's going to stack Valkyries first, right?
Yep.
Valkyries first. Valk swoops in. Picks up random target. Starts carrying them out. Hodge slows. Everything works. Get them on her. Try to start with stuns to keep them in. Keep range from having to move. But everyone needs to kill the Valkyr. After the Valkyr is dead, they'll drop their target. And everyone needs to spread the fuck out because Defile is next. Ideally, we take Defile all the way to the edge. It starts probably about this big. You run out of it. You do not jump. I don't know if jump makes it bigger on here, but it does on private servers. It's not worth testing. Just don't jump. It'll probably grow about here by the time you get out. Probably this big if there's more than one person in it. So then we position the Lich King kind of here. We stack back up. It's rinse, repeat. By now we should have a Soul Reaper out, a tank swap. You always want to be on this side post-defile, because the Valkyr will take the shortest path possible. If you're back here, the Valkyr picks you up, he takes you right over defile. So do not do that. If you're here, Valkyr picks you up, brings you right over the boss to cleave. Okay, I can't multi-select apparently, but you know what I mean.
You also want to make sure you're not in the middle. When we get defile, you need to be on the edge. You need to run to the edge immediately.
Yes.
If we defile the middle, we're gonna lose people to Val.
So after the Valkyr's dead, same shit, except now we only have half of the area to spread. This, by the way, this is not here, this extra ice barrier. Spread as much as you can. I mean, you don't have to be at the exact edge, but you just need to be cognizant. If the next defile goes out on this guy, and this is you, you need to not run this way because it will likely grow into your path a bit. You just need to move out and around. Then once again, we go to the other side. By the time everyone's in, this one should be gone. Rinse, repeat. There will be a time towards the end of phase 2 where the timers are going to be pretty close. In that event, we're going to do like a loose spread. Yeah, sort of like, not that far, like this. Because either way, we're not going to get another defile after this one. So it's really okay if it starts here, or another Valkyr, usually. It's really no big deal if it starts here, because we still have all this area to work with. But it'll go out about the same time as the Valkyr goes out. So, I mean, worst case scenario, it's like this, and then you just need to get the Valkyr while she's outside it. Obviously, ranged, you can hit them the whole time, but once again, goes to the middle, we transition. It's exactly the same as the first time, except you don't have the shambling. Oh, I neglected to mention, hunters, ice orbs are going to come out. You just got to kill them. That's your only job. They'll pick one person, they'll slowly go towards them. They just need to die before they reach them, or they're going to explode and knock everyone off. It's really easy, they don't have a lot of health. It just needs to get done. This whole zone is dot territory, so stay out of it. Once we are in phase 3, there's no Shadowmourne on Heroic, right? No Shadowmourne phase?
On normal.
Or Frostmourne phase on
no,
normal.
it's just one person. One person will get drug in.
Okay. If you are drugged down to the side, there's going to be...
Depends on your roll, right?
Yeah. Tyrannus. And some ad. I think it might be the Shambling, actually. Similar. If you're a healer, all you gotta do is you gotta heal Tyrannus. He'll kill it. If you're a DPS, melee or ranged, you just hit this guy. He dies. If Tyrannus dies before this guy dies, it's going to send you up. Lich King is going to get a haste buff, do like 75% increased attack speed, and pretty much fuck the tanks. So I don't even know if they have that here. Doesn't seem like they do. One thing to note, during this, all of this, Soul Reaper's going out on tanks. So when that happens, it's going to be a tank swap. Off tank still needs to be healed. If you're beaconing the main tank, do not swap your beacon immediately. Wait until Soul Reaper falls off and just heal him. And then, same thing will happen later. He's got beacon. Cool. Heal me direct. Once the shit falls off of him, then re-beacon me and heal the raid. Phase 3 is the same shit as Phase 2. Stack spread, Valk Defile. The only difference is we're going to get ghost spawns. So when we are here, he's going to spawn... Is there Defile in Phase 3? It may be
Yes.
reduced. I think it's reduced, so we should only ever have one Defile up during ghosts. But they don't have a ghost icon here. He's going to stand still. He's going to cast, summoning a bunch of ghosts that go right above him.
Okay, phase 3, what? No, there's no defile in phase 3.
Okay,
Sorry.
no defile.
It's just ghosts. You walking back and forth across the room, and then someone soaks.
Is there no Valks?
No ghosts, or no defile, no valk.
Oh, okay. That makes it even easier
you
than
just
I
walk
remember.
back and forth.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we tank him on the edge here. He summons these ghosts above him. We bring him to the other side. Whoever is not tanking is going to run in, pop a small cooldown. Should be enough, at least for normal. Probably a bigger one for heroic. Soak these ghosts. They're going to head towards the raid. They do AoE damage on impact. You just need to impact them away from everyone else. They die. Whatever. Soul Reaper swap. He casts them here. We go back and forth. Whatever. Same shit. Runs to the middle. Kills everyone. Epic RP. Everyone gets resurrected. Kill him on Frostmourne. Spoiler alert. Yeah, that's everything. Oh, there was
You
a
drop
reduced
Shadow
icon.
War. Easy.
Oh, this is the ghost icon. This is supposed to be the spirit icon. Okay. Anybody got any questions about Lich King? I mean, this is pretty much the proven method, I think.
The only hard part about OK is really phase 1. The rest of it's rinse and repeat.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely wipe in phase 2 to a bad defile, but if you're...
Oh, we will, but I'm just saying, like, you just gotta get that down. Like, that's not hard.
Yeah.
The hardest part is, phase 1, because it's so RNG, right? Like,
I mean...
it picks a different person for the debuff, and one person fucking the debuff is, like, huge.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the ad doesn't die. Yeah.
It is... I don't think Gray's in here, but he may watch the VOD. It is also important at the beginning, when we're in this positioning, and he has the shambling, that he taunts as many ghouls as humanly possible. Because what will
The
happen...
ghouls are gonna flop, bro. Those things are gonna flop.
What will happen is when you got, say, 2 or 3 ghouls on you, somebody brings over the debuff to get dispelled. So I'm just going to put the ranged here, whatever. Somebody brings the debuff over here to get dispelled. It's going to hop off them onto probably the shambling. But it does prefer, after it's on the shambling, it does prefer to jump to other hostile targets. Obviously Lich King's immune, so it'll hop onto the Dredge Ghoul, and when it kills them, it will send another stack early. So the more Dredge Ghouls, the faster the stacks, the faster the ad dies. Now, when we're moving out for phase, first of all, we should have no Dredge Ghouls up. It's fine if casters and ranged hit the shambling, as long as melee doesn't go in, because you do not want to get the debuff.
I mean, it really isn't that big of a deal. You just dispel it.
Well, you want it to keep stacking to kill this guy. Like, assuming this guy's still at 20% HP or something,
Well, I mean,
he needs to
it
get
kills him.
targeted.
It shouldn't come off of him until he's dead.
No, it will.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't know that. Never seen that, actually.
Because Gray will have to dispel it off him, or maybe it doesn't. Fuck. Am I mixing
He
this
will.
up?
He'll have to.
He'll have
once
to
it
dispel it when he
Yeah,
dies,
once he has dead, it
but
spreads,
not when it isn't dead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it spreads
Okay.
on it.
Alright, I guess it's
What
fine
can happen
then.
though is like when you dispel, if you're not.
Yeah, what can happen is when he dies, it might hop on the melee, so melee have to at least be out for that. I think that's pretty much everything.
Need reps on LK. It's not that big of a. It's not that it's a hard fight. It's just that like one mistake is. You're
It's
dead.
a tactical fight. And
Yeah.
it's not something that's super annoying. Like Blood Prince is a really annoying tactical fight, just because there's so much
Death
like
Whisper, annoying as fuck.
yeah,
Any fight with an MC can go to hell, bro.
yeah. I mean, any fight that some person can fuck you over specifically is just kind of rough. If you fuck over the whole raid, then obviously everyone knows what happened. But
Nah,
I
the
mean,
MC's
Blood
the
Prince is
worst.
just really annoying. Anyways, anybody have any questions? Anybody that came in late want to go over anything that we covered previously or any input whatsoever?
Thanks, Daddy Goose.
You are welcome. Enjoy your day of not having raid.
Alright. See you guys later.
See you later.
See you guys.
I missed half of this shit.